So I'm Alex Booth, and this is my final presentation on the social cognitive theory in sports. This was a survey study done on the online media impact in sports media. So why is this topic important, right? The use of social media continues to rise globally every single year. In 2023, there were 5.22 billion social media users globally, which equates to 63.8% of Earth's total population. So that's an incredibly high number. Not only does that mean 63.8% of Earth's total population has access to online media, they use social media actively every day. So in a study done in 2020, it was found that incidental news exposure has a negative impact on online news consumption. So those two statistics right there are very important on why sports and online news media continue to become intertwined every single year and how they affect one another. So just talk about sports and social media in general. A study was done by students at Mississippi State University earlier this year about the fan engagement with their favorite sports teams online, and they found that they completely stem from the fear of missing out on their favorite team. Now, live sports and social media, as I mentioned, continue to become increasingly intertwined with one another, and the goal of this study will be to conclude whether or not the intake of people's opinions from online during live sporting events can impact a consumer's idea of what they saw during an event. Now, that lines up with the predictions made by the social cognitive theory and what we've learned throughout the semester through the textbook and reading this year. Now, the main concepts of this study, there are a couple on this slide and on the next one. First off is incidental exposure to others' thoughts and ideas. It can happen when someone goes on social media during a commercial break of a football game, then all of a sudden they're getting an echo chamber of different opinions that is social media during a live event that they are watching, and that can impact the opinion that they are currently forming on the live event that's happening right in front of them, right? So according to a study done in Austria, incidental news exposure is a concept that was introduced in the 20th century. Yes, societies and academics' interest on the concept has soared rapidly thanks to the introduction of the internet and online media. This makes a lot of sense as the predictions made in social cognitive theory, they really align with a lot of the impacts that we see on online media and social media today. Now, as I mentioned, we have a couple more main concepts for this study. Another main concept that will be a part of the study is online news consumption. A study done in 2023 from the Department of Neuroscience of Karolinska Institute found that negativity drives online media consumption and concluded that negativity is consumed at a higher rate than positivity, and each additional negative word in a headline produces 2.3% more engagement. So a lot of people complain about negative online media and a lot of the negative headlines they see from online media, but the statistics show that in 2023, people engage 2.3% more negative words in a headline. So negativity really drives online media consumption. Now, a third final concept of this will come from a study done in 2019 on emotional intensity and opinion polarization of online news media. The result of their study supported the hypothesis that they had as online media has increased opinion polarization through echo chamber of effects in the replies and comment sections of each post. So that leads us to the theory, right? The main theory that will be applied through the set of concepts listed in the previous slides is social cognitive theory. Social cognitive theory is interpersonal level theory that was developed by Albert Bandura in 1986 in his book, Social Foundations of Thought and Action, a Social Cognitive Theory. Now, I'm sure many of us are familiarized with the key constructs of the theory, but this is it in case you are not familiar with it. That the key constructs of the theory are dynamic interactions between people, their behavior, and their environment. They're all theorized to have an influence to formulate an individual's identity. And that's the theory that will be used. And as I mentioned, the most efficient way to do this method will be a method by survey. A survey would allow the researcher to be able to give a group of consumers a stimulus and a set of questions in order to see if the stimulus did in fact influence the group of users who received it versus the group of consumers who would not. And obviously the stimulus in this study would be the use of online media or having access to online media while watching a live event. And obviously another group of users would not have access to that online media. Now, looking at the results of this study, based on the predictions made of social cognitive theory, the results of the study should align with the predictions made that participants that did have access to online media would have more negative takeaways from live sporting events versus those who didn't, and their takes would align with those takes that were popular and online media during the game. So usually on Twitter, on Instagram, or on Facebook, you usually see trending posts after the game. Typically, people who are using media online, their opinions will likely line up with those trending posts of maybe influencers or maybe sports media personalities, or maybe just maybe popular fans, kind of align with that influencer category. You can see a lot of people's opinions line up with opinions that those people tweeted out or posted on social media during the game, as they had their opinion influenced by them by seeing it online during the live event. So the results of the previous studies that examined social cognitive theory using a survey were used as examples in the method slide would lead to the study's results to highlight the participants who did have access to online media and would have their opinion on a live event influenced by the echo chamber of opinions that is online media. So more discussion and further research needs to be done on this topic to have a more extensive survey of participants in order to try and quantify the effects to be had on individuals through social media and online media in general. As I mentioned, social media has only been around since 2003 when MySpace was created. So it's been about 21 years since the creation of social media. We don't fully understand yet an ability to quantify the effects that social media and online media has on the consumer. So more research and discussion needs to be done on this topic. And even though social cognitive theory was created decades ago, the theory is as prevalent as ever with the multitude of digital platforms that people can use to receive the opinions of others. Currently, there's not enough information available to the public for them to fully understand how online media impacts their brain. So further research does need to be done on online media using the social cognitive theory that will allow the public to fully understand the cognitive effects of online media and what it does to their everyday life. I appreciate everyone for listening and watching this final presentation on social cognitive theory and online sports and media as well. And these are my references. I appreciate everyone tuning in, and thank you.